Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. I'm John Delano, and welcome to the Sunday Business Page. This morning, a battle in Pittsburgh City Council over the way police investigate calls about domestic violence. We'll talk with City Councilman Reverend Ricky Burgess and Cheryl Regan, President and CEO of the Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. Then Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh of UPMC spreads its wings into South Fayette Township as it breaks ground for a new pediatric site that will feature expanded outpatient services for children in the South Hills. Kathy Guattari, Vice President of Children's Outpatient Services, will be here to explain. Then we'll look at the increasing role that natural gas production could have in our area and what role the law could play in regulating that production. Babs Callen's Joe Reinhart will join us. It's all next right here on the Sunday Business Page.
The Sunday Business Page on KDKA-TV is brought to you by Stewart Capital Advisors. Experience the power of the Piper. Sunday Business Page.
For much of Western Pennsylvania's history, the community's role has been a consumer of energy, but that's changing. This area is taking steps to become a major exporter of energy, including natural gas. But what will that mean to consumers, companies who drill for that gas, employees, and the community that lives in an area where drilling takes place? As you can imagine, legal questions could become complicated. And that's where attorneys like Joe Reinhart come into the picture. Joe is a shareholder and chairman of Babs Callen's Energy and Natural Resources Group. Joe is with us this morning for some perspective on how the natural gas development in this area will be regulated. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you on the show, Joe.
Good morning, John.
Your practice at Babs Callen sounds pretty terrific. You represent a number of the energy companies?
We do, John. We represent well over 50 companies that are exploration and midstream companies that operate in the Marcellus and in the Utica Shale, which is covering the pretty much two-thirds of Pennsylvania, a good part of Ohio, and also West Virginia. And so it's a terrific source.
I think it's always good to remind people what this Marcellus Shale is all about, because we're talking about really more than a mile down, 8,000 feet down, straight down below us?
Exactly. This formation is, it varies in thickness. It could be 10 feet thick to over 100 feet thick, and it does cover an enormous area of the region. It's an organic-rich shale formation, and it has both a dry gas component, which is sort of ordinary natural gas. It also has something called natural gas liquids as you get into the western part of the formation. And the reason that that's important is those things provide natural gas liquids or ethane. Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about the cracker that's,
right, that's for that.
Looking for that. And so as you have wet gas that has these ethanes that need to be processed, you have not only the potential to use the gas itself, dry gas, right, but you also have the potential to use the wet gas component as well.
Well, we know it's down underneath us, and we know that it's a good thing because it does bring down our natural gas prices, and frankly, natural gas can wean us off this oil from Arabia and make us an energy-independent nation. Many think that's going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that's a very exciting opportunity for both the country and for the region. I mean, I think we're looking in a situation, John, where we could go, as you mentioned, as being someone that 10 years ago we were looking to try to figure out how to get more liquefied natural gas imported into the country, and now the country is looking to send out as much as 6 billion cubic feet of that liquid natural gas a day. And in Pennsylvania, we are going from being a net importer of natural gas to a net exporter.
I read a column in the Wall Street Journal not too long ago by the ambassador from India to the United States, and the ambassador says, we want more of your natural gas because countries like India are dependent on natural gas. And as you say, I mean, this region, Pennsylvania, could become really a net exporter of it, although we want to make sure we keep enough of it here for our purposes, right?
That's been a lot of the debate, John, because of the fact that because the chemical companies can use it for so many purposes, I think in some of them there's a concern that if they export too much, then their prices will go up. But you're absolutely right, particularly when you get into the Asian theater, the Pacific area, that sort of thing. We're able to export this material, and we're very good here in terms of being able to produce it economically, and so it really gives us an opportunity.
I don't want to get too complicated with respect to the law, but I know the things that people care about, of course, are their safety, environmental safety, the quality of their water. These kinds of issues are really important, aren't they?
They certainly are, and it's the sort of thing that a lot of our folks do. We're we're fortunate to have a lot of people that have different skill sets in the firm that can address all those issues, whether or not it's a safety issue, an environmental issue, that sort of thing. And I'm happy to tell you that the companies that we're representing are equally concerned about these issues. And so it's just a question of trying to make sure, as the rules, the laws become increasingly complicated in order to accomplish these things, that we help them understand exactly how they go about complying with those things.
The laws are different in different states, aren't they?
Oh, they certainly are. And this has historically been something where the states have had a large say in terms of how the industry is regulated. And so Pennsylvania does things slightly different than Ohio, who does something slightly different than West Virginia.
Which can be very complicated, I think, to a lot of folks and to the companies.
It certainly can.
Well, I wanted to ask you, you've issued this report. It's called the Babs-Callen Report, Perspectives on Natural Gas Development, Recent Activity and Expected Trends. You've just issued this report. It is available. Folks, if they're interested in this, can get this. We'll have a website up on the screen here shortly. But what is your conclusion? I mean, what are the, as we look forward to the future, what are the expected trends that you see?
Well, I think what we're going to continue to see is more and more studies to make sure that everything that's being done is being done properly. There's going to be more of the permitting process that includes things like water management plans.
Right. To
be able to say, where are you going to get your water? Where is it going to go? How are you going to use it safely?
Right. I like the idea of just continuous self-contained water systems, so that you're not taking water from anybody, but that you just recycle the water. And I know there may be some technological issues, but we're doing a lot in the technology field to make that happen.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the industry would like to do as well, which is to recycle that water to the maximum extent possible so that they don't have to go out and use fresh water.
Well, Joe Reinhart, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Good luck to you and Babs-Callen and all the good work you're doing over there. We appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll be back with more of the Sunday Business Page in just a few moments. Stick with us.
The Sunday Business Page will be back. To the Sunday Business Page, brought to you by Stewart Capital Advisors. Experience the power of the piper.
If you have a question or a comment or a suggestion for a guest or a topic for this program, we'd love to hear from you. So please do write to me at the Sunday Business Page, KDKA-TV, 1 Gateway Center, Pittsburgh, 15222, or send me an email at KDKA.com. We'll be back again next Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. I'm John Delano. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.